The insane clown is here.
The mad clown Korean.
Well, you know, plenty of people want to beat my ass all week.
So, all three of us seen the movie. Before we get into, because if you look at the title, it's a discussion about the film / a debunking.
I love it. The Mortal Kombat 21 was really good, but it had problems.
Yeah, I'm the first one to admit it had problems, but it had far less problems than fucking Annihilation in the first movie.
Yep.
And I love the first movie. Here's the funny. I saw, okay, funny thing is, I saw Annihilation at 12, so I kind of had a love to it, because I was like, oh, a Mortal Kombat movie. Oh shit, a sequel, okay, let me watch it. But then I saw later in life people hated it. So I was like, oh. And then I watched it, I was like, yeah, Annihilation wasn't that great. The first one only has nostalgic holding it. That's it. Without that nostalgia, because here's the thing. This is what Keo said in his video. Mortal Kombat, the movie from 1995, it's basically the SNES version, the censored version.
I believe I said that, yeah.
So, like, where are they getting at with trying to come up with all this shit saying, oh, it doesn't follow the games? This shows you they were not following the development of the film, because I was following the development, like I was following the Resident Evil one, and I could tell you Resident Evil, like, as an example, I think the Resident Evil was going to have the effect of this movie, because it's going to be so fucking accurate to the games with only minor differences to help support its story, or cut out things that could not work. Because I mean, not everything, they sound like the people that said, oh, we want everything on the screen even if it doesn't work. Because then somebody pointed out that they're gonna bitch about, if they would have just went to the tournament, they would have been like, where's the build up? And you can't say that wouldn't be an argument, because that would be a fucking argument. What's up, Dustin? Sega Lover. Sega Lover, ignore the doubt. Like, you're talking to Mortal Kombat fans here. We know the source material. I know it religiously, like I do Resident Evil.
Zealot.
Oh fuck, I'll be a zealot for that.
I know, I was making joke. Mr. Kangaroo Man, thanks. Mortal Kombat Annihilation is a 10 out of 10 movie.
9 out of 10, but it's close enough.
Really a kangaroo.
That's like, how in the fuck are you gonna say that? That's the thing, you know he's reaching, because even the Mortal Kombat fan base knows that's misinformation, and yet there's some of, like, as I said, there's only 75% people like it, and the 30% are grifters. Because it's, and you know he also thinks, oh, you had to have been there to make an opinion on it. Dude, I got more fucking knowledge on Star Wars than some of these so-called channels do. And yet...
but...
Huh?
Huh?
No, I forgot what I was saying. Because I heard you and I was like, oh shit. Now anyway, but here's the thing. Where is everyone's stance on it compared to video game films in general, besides the ones that have... Okay, among the ones that have worked. Because some people seem to acknowledge the ones that are good. Silent Hill.
Hey, I did a review on Silent Hill too.
Now don't get me wrong. Silent Hill, like the second Silent Hill movie, Revelations, could have worked if they didn't add in so much shit that changed part 3. Because you know they had to skip part 2 to go to 3, but since they've already set up Sherry, it was Sherry, right? Or Sharon or some shit?
Heather.
No, but Sharon, no. I think her name is Sharon. Sherry? Her too? Oh yeah. Shit. Okay. See, they set it up to where, okay, you could do the Silent Hill 3. You never watched any of the movies. I will tell you this. Watch, if you can find a way, watch the original movie, because if you look at it as it's an adaptation of the no, I will fight you on Mortal Kombat Conquest, the live action prequel. That was a fucking good show, and I don't know why it got canceled after one season, because people did like it. And then Mortal Kombat Legacy got canceled. Oh yeah, here's the thing. People are saying, oh, they changed up the movie. Legacy changed the show and the origins to even Liu Kang fought for Outworld. Oh, but I won't. No, if they're actually gonna bring that up, right?
Oh my God! How? Somebody pulled the grenade on John and triggered him so bad.
Why?
And I'm just saying, it's funny. You're going off on a rant.
Yes, I am going on a slight tangent rant because it makes fucking sense. And I mean, the one thing that is saying he makes it seem like the characters. He makes the characters seem like they're not acting like themselves. I think the Mortal Kombat characters can get the Ben Affleck Batman treatment. You don't need their fucking origins up front. You just need the hints that, okay, this is... Okay, you don't need their life stories. You just need an event that makes them the fighters they are.
Didn't I say that in my reviews?
Yeah, I know. I'm just emphasizing that because it's like makes sense. And not only that, I find the idea of the dragon marking unique because then you can select who you want and don't want to use as combatants in the future.
I even said in the thing, I said it's a keep what you kill concept.
Yeah, I mean, somebody said, oh, Raiden's a hypocrite. Why can't Raiden intervene? It's set forth by the Elder Gods in the lore that an Elder God cannot fight unless directly challenged. And why do you think nobody during the tournament of Shang Tsung would fucking challenge him? Because they would get their asses smacked. Because then if he...
So I pointed out in the 1990 film, Raiden cheated. And Shang Tsung got assembled the fighters, not Raiden.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, you're gonna blast me all day, chat, but it's true. Who walks around motivating Liu Kang?
Seriously, Liu Kang, at least I give it in Legacy. When they tried to say, oh, he ran away from the temple, in the Legacy Season 2, he had a legit reason for his background. And what made him... Here's the thing. I liked what they did with him. As a fan, I wasn't going to complain because I'm like, this is a fresh fucking take on Liu Kang. He's not the monk we know him. He is actually damn near on fucking... He's as savage as Shang Tsung and has to find his way back to the light. Because Shang Tsung...
I like the fact that in this movie they made him arrogant.
That's how they're supposed to be. They're arrogant Shaolin monks, and then they get their asses put back into them. Where this...
Hey, yo, look, it's the fallen star. Fuck off.
This chat is not about that right now. We have something else we're dealing with. Retro, we saw what happened. What the hell? Anyway, look, I'm sorry for this. We're doing something else. You can come plead your case another day. Just do me that favor.
And do me a favor, too. Fucking confess, leave me the fuck alone.
Okay, anyway.
Okay, back to the infinite retro.
Making it seem like these characters just do not act like themselves. Are you fucking kidding me? And here's the thing. Look at my gameplay, for example. Tell me on my gameplay screen, where do you see the Arcana? Because it's right directly on one of the parts of the screen. The Arcana.
It's the Chi bar.
Right there at the bottom left and the bottom right, right?
Right, yeah. So
they decided to make... That's the thing. They decided to... Because Mortal Kombat never explained how these characters got their powers. They just always were able to do them. The newer games, everything is trying to give a purpose, but they still keep it ambiguous. So the director literally went out his way to make a mechanic lore-filled. That takes fucking a lot of credit to do. He's like, I want to include everything from Mortal Kombat, even the mechanics.
And here's the interesting thing. I even brought up the Arcana, that it's rule magic. You cannot use it. You know what I mean? There are rules applied to it.
Now, here's the thing. The thing is, the way it can work is think about it, when you get to the Outworld Invasion, then you won't need the mark because the worlds are colliding. Therefore, the natural energies are gonna pop out. You're gonna be in a state of fucking flux. And that's what I'm glad about, that they would take the first two tournaments, because you can easily take, because the rematch tournament is not necessary. You could do this. Now that Goro's dead, you can have Shang Tsung, for this defeat, plead for his life, because for losing Melina would also piss off Shao Kahn. You lost some of his best fighters.
I also pointed out the fact that, what was it? Prince Goro died of...
Hey, Savage, Hey Savage, yeah, Retro's, I don't know why he's running here. I already told him this ain't about that. When you guys work his ass, keep his ass busy while we're doing trying to do Mortal Kombat here. Don't worry, I want to know that day that you guys do that get together with him again. I'm most definitely gonna be there. Just send me the information when you can, Savage, of that day. But what was I saying, Kyo?
We were going on.
Oh yeah, Melina and the pissing off. Yeah, here's the thing. The Mortal Kombat, even then, the rules are finicky. And you know what's funny? Shao Kahn says it himself. The Elder Gods rule is fiction when it comes to Mortal Kombat. That's only a rule place, but if you find a workaround, it will still count as a victory for you. Yeah, why do you think Shang's...
Before the game begins.
And what was the loophole in the original trilogy? Because in the new trilogy is when the Elder Gods decided to act and stop Shao Kahn from merging the realms. So... yeah, G-Bane, get his ass in there and give some explaining, please. I appreciate that.
Make the man confess and sweat.
Yeah. If you guys could just keep him off of here. Yeah, you tell him, Jacob. Let us have our keep. Yeah, keep him away from here, because this is all about Mortal Kombat, you know? You guys work his ass, perform a fatality on him. Now, what I'm seeing is, this is literally, I could tell you the 4-act structure that might be done. And all three villains were teased and set up in this film subtly. It's not in your face, because let's be real, in the MCU, when you set shit up, they throw it in your face. And they said that they were trying to set up Shao Kahn the same way Thanos was set up. But Shao Kahn doesn't need...
something. They didn't do this kind of over-the-top fatality.
The what?
Remember how Infinite Retro's logic was the fatality overkill? They didn't do this kind of fatality. The closest they had was the Kung Lao's blenders. And
that's exactly what's supposed to happen, though. And now I want to talk a little bit actually about the combatants for the villain side. Some people are like, oh, why do they kill so many of the combatants when they just introduced? Except for Melina, who Tarkatans have regenerative abilities. I see her coming back. Sub-Zero's already coming back as Noob Saibot. That's accurate.
Also, we gotta point out the simple fact is there was, from a writer standpoint, the best thing to do if you're gonna start from a set piece, throw in the B tier characters, the lower tier characters.
I could tell, but here's the thing. I could tell you at least who I could tell you. Let me pull this up on my phone right here. So you'll be able to see what I mean. I'll be able to tell you. I could tell you from by the game's lore who's B tier, A tier, C tier, shit like that. So if this is Sonya Blade, we know she's A tier. Sub-Zero, he's A tier. Cole Young, we're gonna see him throughout the series. It depends where we make our judgments on him. But despite what people say, he has original powers, and that whole plot armor thing is just an excuse for them to use it, because his power is to absorb kinetic energy and dish it back out. That is actually a Chinese-Japanese type of thing. At least it's in his armor, which represents the Armageddon armor. Melina, A tier. Scorpion, A tier. Liu Kang, A tier. Jax is A tier. Nitara, C tier. Kano, A tier. Raiden is obviously A tier because it's Shang Tsung, A tier. Kung Lao, he was B tier, became A tier. Where is it? Rico was C tier, eventually became B tier, but then went back down because they didn't do nothing with him. The same thing, like Nitara was C tier, and Cabal was B tier, became A tier. Because I don't see, because even the director said that, and Shang Tsung's line implied it where he says death is but another portal. They could come back as Revenants, which Scorpion is a Revenant, but I also like what they did with Scorpion. I'm gonna pose this question for anyone who likes Mortal Kombat or plays the games or anything like that. What's wrong with it this time? The director never said that he was replacing him, like Liu Kang, as the champion. What's his name? Cole Young is not the champion. His story and his feud will be with the Sub-Zero stuff and Noob Saibot. So therefore Scorpion can come to aid him, and therefore it sets up, it could set up a team up between him, like Cole Young, the good Sub-Zero, Kuai Liang, who is, the good Sub-Zero who tries to amend for his brother's mistakes, and Scorpion. Scorpion is no longer this servant anymore. He knows what needs to be done. Probably the reason why he was locked in the Netherrealm, and people are like, why he never showed up again. Quan Chi could have fucking held him there, and until Raiden had the knife, which items in Mortal Kombat are known to house someone's spirit, or could call to someone. And I'm about to show you guys right now, actually, because I'm playing the ladder right now, and I'm gonna show you right now the thing where they got the idea of having the Scorpion's kunai call to him. Because in this game, there's these things called assist items, which assist items you're about to see a whole window of them, and I don't have it right now unlocked. Well, I don't have it unlocked. I just don't have it restocked because you have to restock the items. Here, it's in the used consumables. Scorpions would look like a kunai the way the fucking kunai looked. So the director went as far as to literally put this shit in, and the writer went as far as to include mechanics like this. Then I'm gonna put
I saw a cameo for is it Shinnok or Quan Chi's amulet?
Shinnok's.
Also Katana's fan. And another one.
So I mean, you gotta give the man, you gotta commend the man for fucking for going that far. Oh yeah, and you know that was misinformation about Johnny Cage. Oh, he's not in it because he's white. No, he's in it because he's being saved for the sequel. Because to think about it, if they're gonna do the Shinnok thing, if you want to give Johnny Cage his own enemy, he defeats Shinnok in canon now, so let him defeat Shinnok in this continuity.
Also, I would like to point out, killing Kung Lao is a really good move because now you get Liu Kang kicking the balls.
Yeah, you do that real quick. I'm gonna put the microphone up close. You explain your stuff. Just gotta use the bathroom real quick.
Oh, I suppose you can hear me now. Can you hear me now? Just need to know for the chat.
I can still hear you.
Okay, well, basically, shit. Okay, the Kung Lao thing, it makes sense because if you kick freaking Liu Kang in the balls by taking away someone he cares about like that, you give him motivation because throughout this whole movie, 2021, he was arrogant as hell. He was a zealot. I'm just gonna say, stuck in the old ways and how they think, not in the new ways. Also, John does have a point about Cole not being necessarily be a main character, because Liu Kang's gonna want Shang Tsung.
See, Kung Lao is not Kung Lao, Cole Young is the audience, and he is just a common man, you know. But
here's the thing, I gotta point a little bit more so you can help support me on this, how a writing structure goes. Cole was literally also semi-viewpoint character, semi-not, was how he was written.
Yeah.
I even pointed out, a common man cannot awaken that kind of power, shooting fireballs out of your hands, even to quote,
yeah.
Almost, to paraphrase. You have to put, and I like what Raiden did, it made sense. Put him in an actual death situation. Because where he was at, he had no fear of death.
Exactly. And you know, how do you feel that instead of giving everyone individual reasons for how they have their powers, that it's even Jax's arms, as you know, it's I was in the boat that I thought it was.
I said it's Magitech, remember? I said it's basically unawakened Magitech. That's why there's skeleton in the beginning, and then he got pissed as Arcana wakes up the Magitech.
Thank you, because there's one realm. If anybody in the retro claims to be a Mortal Kombat fan, the Order realm has that kind of technology. And what did Liu Kang say? And what did Raiden's?
It was a passing line that we can get his arms working again.
You know, and because think about it. If Jax didn't lose his arms, I guarantee his Arcana would enhance his strength. But what did?
It's always been augmentation.
Yeah.
But you needed a reason to make him have his augmentation to a degree in this one.
Exactly, and Liu Kang, like I said, he subtly passed it.
It awakens the Magitech, and thus awakens his big buff arms. They went from Skeleton, which is non-awakened Magitech, to awakened Magitech.
And not only that, without it being stated, I could tell that the invaders of Outworld, or anyone that tries to be the invader, doesn't need the marking, so Shang Tsung could choose his fighters who he wanted. But Raiden's, the defenders have to be chosen on behalf of Raiden. So Raiden, It's like the fight, he already knows, he acts like an ass, but that's to motivate you, because you see how he smiles, he's like, see, I told you you needed to do this, this, and this. Raiden has always had a subtle cockiness because he knows he's gonna come out. He knows he was right in the end.
And I will point out Raiden's arrogance in this was a big hubris in the reboot to a degree, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah, his hubris to help Cole achieve his arcana cost the life of Kung Lao, and it's always somebody losing their life is always behind Raiden.
Jesus, effing Christ!
What do you mean we're not gonna? Alright, just let me. He's gonna put us in block. Like, Retro, just bounce. Hey, what's up, Beat? We're just having our discussion here.
But as I said, I explained Magitech was Jack's arms. Liu Kang.
Actually,
so arrogant.
Actually, pause real quick. Beat, if it's possible, if you're on the PlayStation, you know, I also want you in here because you also have a very good, you have a very strong knowledge, whether you agree and disagree when it comes to Mortal Kombat, but I would want somebody who is also, because I saw the comment, and even then, you did a good job in your comment in Infinite Retro's video, because you can see at this point he's being petty.
Oh god, you give Mortal Kombat Annihilation a 9 out of 10? I wrecked that movie.
Exactly, so I mean, even like, no amount of good they could come up with can defend that movie. Even, you don't see Beat defending that. Beat would go through and watch probably fucking Mortal Kombat the Defenders of the Realm cartoon, because at least that felt like Mortal Kombat.
Oh god, I mean, I did you not see my review of anybody in this channel? I would go check my review out of Mortal Kombat. I've reviewed all 3 films at this point.
Yeah.
I'm not nice to them. I'm not being for looking at them.
Sadly, it's very late here. I'm not on the P. It's already 10. Oh, okay. Well, Beat, if you want to just like type like the questions and anything you want right here, just so we can answer them and also give your point of view. I don't know if did you actually see the movie or like watch it over and over? Because Beat, you know me. I know there's certain things that I like, but now this time just so I can give a good point. You know me. I'm going to review things. I review the lore over and over. I've watched the movie a total of 7 times now. And Scorpion's Revenge, the animated movie, on top of that to compare the origins of the background. And Cole, like what were you saying about Cole?
I said that in the review. If you look at my review of 2021, I point out the flaws
and you know what's the key thing? No, I didn't watch the new movie yet. Beat, I'm telling you for this, it took me the second time to be like, you know what? I want to see where these 4 movies are going to go. I want to see where it's going to go, because I don't understand what is, like, this just shows you, Infinite Retro does no research, and he suffers the Star Wars OT original trilogy syndrome, where anything beyond the original trilogy is non-canon, but that's the problem. That's ignorant, and that's misinformation, because all the 3D games, except Shaolin Monks, because Shaolin Monks was non-canon, the director even said, not the director, but the creator of the games, Ed Boon, said that it was non-canon. Every other thing of the games do take place, even the bad games take place in the storyline. So when we got to MK9, the guy tried to tell me that, oh, Beat's only, tries to tell me, oh, you're only a fan of MK9. That's when you became a fan. No, we have knowledge that.
Hold on, John, 1 second.
Okay.
Calm down for a second. I'm gonna answer your question. Hold on, I was trying to say, but John was yelling and ranting at the point was, yeah, in my review I pointed out that, yeah, it has its flaws. Both movies have flaws, but they're both pretty good.
Give and take. Mortal Kombat always has a give and take. That's what I was trying to say. They're gonna give you, they technically give you what you wanted, but they had to take things out. Because I'm telling you, all of Mortal Kombat's lore, unless you're planning to do a fucking 12-part series or make as many movies as the games, which I doubt you want to do. I mean, I like that exactly. As I told, hold on, I want to read this. As I told Retro that the movie you could have pretended splitting the fan base by the single line before the start. This movie represents one possible after MK aftermath. Exactly. Because Liu Kang, if he's an Elder God, it would be a great reveal that if Elder God Liu Kang showed up at the end. Because think about it, Liu Kang himself would still exist in the new timeline. He would still have been born.
I'm going to tell you one thing. It beats onto something here. This new Raiden was Team Arrogant, correct?
This new, yeah.
Kombat Aftermath. Let me tell you one funny fact. He can shapeshift. He can make himself look like the original Raiden. That did not mess up your future self.
But I think it would be a nice closure and acknowledgement that it does take place in the many timelines of Mortal Kombat. Is if Liu Kang, if Thunder God Liu Kang showed up at Fire God of Fire God. God damn it! I hate his title because it's Fire Thunder God Liu Kang. I wish they would have came up with like something simple, but
Thunder God Liu Kang. There you go.
No, but he has fire in it, and they say both that he's God of. No, he says it again that he's God of Thunder and Fire. And he's the one that trained this Kung Lao. The events could still happen the same, but different. Like, thinking the guy said we are getting the original Mortal Kombat things, and I think this fourth movie, if this fourth movie is not a spin-off, it has to be with Shinnok, which would be like, boom, Cole Young has his rivalry with. I think they're setting up to have a rivalry with Noob Saibot instead. If you do that, that's fine. That means you give that to him. Shang Tsung is Liu Kang's, and then hell, have Cole and probably Cole and Liu Kang and Cole, like have Cole get his ass beat down by Shao Kahn, and Liu Kang finishes the job, and then set Johnny Cage up to defeat Shinnok like he did in MKX. The Raiden from is also cocky and arrogant at times. Yeah, I mean he is. That is a core.
My review, I think.
That's a core thing with Raiden.
He rigged the Sub-Zero fight in
Liu Kang's favor, which he does say. Here's the thing: he can't, like I say, he can't directly intervene, but even Raiden knows the loopholes.
Yep, leaving a bucket of water and walking off. Katana even stayed the loophole. I remember that in the Fighting 5 review.
Mm-hmm.
Ripped apart a few things. But I still think it's a good movie. It has its flaws.
And that's the thing.
Garbage like Annihilation. How the hell can you praise Annihilation? I think Infinite Retro's mind blew up.
Oh, great! Somebody's posing as Ash. Give me one quick moment, and I will be right back. I'm gonna put the headphone down so you can communicate.
Okay, Lieber, are you still there?
Yeah. Just, I'm trying to get to this stupid boss finally.
Alright, I just wanted to know because if... No, I was gonna have to hang up. Okay? I didn't know if you could left chat. Because then it'd be easier, because I have two headphones in my head.
The smiling face you have?
So... Yeah. Alright, Chad, ignore the imposter of Ashman because we all know it's who it is right now. It's just a troll running around that's been running around for about a few weeks now. That's fine. But, yeah. Beat has a point, as I said. The next movie, they're saying... Actually, for one, I would think this movie would be called Setup. And then... As a 4-act structure, if you look at it, it's more like a prologue. The next movie will be Act 1, the next movie Act 2, and the fourth movie will be Act 3. So yeah, that's what it could be. As if you look at it as setup, the setup point piece would be that. See here, but the wall.
I'm like, really, dude? Really? Like, right now, Keo's just managing he's managing the rest of it for me, just in case this. Yeah, it says, what's it called? It's called Ash the Boy. That's the Ash the Man. Duplicate.
Yep.
Ash the Boy. Yeah, that's.
The news telling you was pretty good, I will admit that. As I quoted, there's no better talk than a military pep talk to get Jax in line. After he fell in the dumps, which made me laugh. The new actor did a good job, and she did. Well, her plot thing basically was, you don't have to be chosen by the mark to fight in the tournament, which was a very good narrative point because you had a bunch of arrogant people with marks. By marks, I mean the mark of the you're chosen by. Please don't take that out of context in today's society.
Okay, I got them. I just spoke to them on. Just spoke to the guys on Discord, and they're gonna keep. Like I told them what just happened, and they see it. So, still trying to get. They're trying to get Retro to freaking come back. Cause I said if you guys are doing this after me and Keo, however long we do this, me and Keo are gonna jump in and give you guys some backing. So for now, we're just gonna be doing this. But what did B say? Ash was making fun. Alright, ass boy, just keep your mouth quiet. We're trying to do Mortal Kombat. The 1995 rating was pretty OP. He one-shotted Scorpion, didn't really fight. He gave an audience some mystery. How exactly? The same with this one, but I think it was okay to show off a little bit of his lightning powers now because he was able to banish Shang Tsung pretty fucking quick. And I like that line because this is so Raiden. He would say, he talks too much. Because Shang Tsung talks a lot of shit.
One of the things I noticed about this movie is they kept a lot of characters, like older characters, in character.
Oh yeah.
You know Kano's a greedy asshole.
And did I not predict that he was gonna betray Sonya? I told you they were gonna keep that intact.
Yep. They kept her as a semi-military jarhead.
Thank you. They kept that the same with him. Oh, Retro just gave himself away. Why would you do that?
Why?
Just keep talking about Mortal Kombat real quick. I'm gonna let them know. Oh, they did expose him. They're watching him now. Ravager's watching. Oh, thank you, Ravager. I was just about to let you guys know that he just admitted it was him. See? Retro, what are you gonna... anyway, no, never mind. They're gonna I already told them if whoever wants to jump in, they can handle it while we're doing this in chat.
You're dumbass shit. Little boy Retro. We're talking about Kangaroo Man.
Yeah, we're talking about... We're trying to also debunk Infinite Retro's logic on, Mortal Kombat. So anyway, she was, yes. Sonya, it's like Sonya, both times she's been cast, they didn't get her wrong. They did not get, they never get her wrong. And I'm fine, like I said, I am fine with their powers being explained through a supernatural sense because it also ties with the mysticism of Mortal Kombat. I understand Raiden doesn't need a mark because the motherfucker's an elder god.
Here's the funny thing. This time, and I pointed this out in all three of my reviews, if you look at it, I talk about a thing called magic and rules magic. This movie put in rules magic. You have to meet specific requirements for the magic to work. Mm-hmm. You just shoot fireballs out of your ass and you fart.
Dude, seriously.
I mean, they actually bothered to put little rules magic down. But
and I told you,
like how he managed to get pissed off and awaken as a Kana with his one eye. Yeah, that was interesting. You can't, and they also explained why humans. Because if everybody could just walk around shooting fireballs with their hands, we'd have problems. So they do, like, they put that explanation there as a rules magic.
No, exactly, Beat. I know I can argue Retro with my information, but the problem is he has that mentality where it's like he decides what's canon and what's not, even though it makes him look stupid because he has a problem with like if he doesn't like something that's even though it's in the lore, he feels he can just leave it out and say I can come up with a better explanation. I'm like, dude, like. You're not the writer of fucking Mortal Kombat. I take the word of Ed Boon and John Tobias over anything else, because then afterwards I acknowledge if you watch this, like I'm gonna try to link it, or if not, if you search up Mortal Kombat MK Archives and watch this guy's history of the entire Mortal, he does every game I think up to MKX at least, but he acknowledges the rebooted timeline and explains what's canon and what's not. Yeah, if you may not like something, okay, you can't just say, it's not canon, because it's canon, but that means you're willing to show willful ignorance, which that means your opinion can technically not count.
I'm guilty of this. I don't like the new Star Wars sequels, trilogies, but I admit they exist, and I admit, they're going to have to be a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it, but I know it exists, and I'll if it's good, from what I know, it does have some good points, it does have its bad points.
Mm-hmm.
So, we can't have you need it too, constantly. So, that's... I hate to check. Jacob, can you quote Scorpion and say, "Get over here," to ask the boy?
Yeah. How? Okay. Yeah. Whatever. We're not he says we're harassing him. We haven't even done anything. This is the first stream you and I've done in a week. You, me, and Libra. So, fucking tell. Like he says. I mean, it's his opinion. MK is all over the place. Yeah. Exactly. It is.
It's like Star Wars, to a degree, when it comes to canonology. It's like doesn't know what it wants to be at times.
Now the thing is, realistically, okay, before before the Mortal Kombat reboot trilogy, this is what the canon games were. There was you know, it's funny, they even left out Special Forces because that game did so poorly. They even said that one is not canon, so I forgot to mention that one. That's not canon either. So it's Mythology, Sub-Zero, MK1, MK2, MK3, MK4, Deadly Alliance, Deception, and Armageddon. You can't count the character endings because the character endings sometimes contradict what goes on. So you have to go by what the main story tells you. And yes, I get right. Don't get me wrong. Everybody can have an opinion. Here's the thing I want to know: if you have an opinion and it at least has more bearing of truth than just saying shit, then don't get me wrong, people can have their opinion, but it's like if your opinion is just like dead wrong. But I think if your opinion is dead wrong, then your opinion is just freaking wrong and it's willful. Like if it's fueled by willful ignorance, then it should not count because then you're polluting the information. There's even a couple YouTubers who are suspected of doing that because this is what I on Facebook. I was in a Mortal Kombat forum and I shut this guy down. I said, you guys, if you want to put it in percentages, about 65 to 70% of the fan base liked it, while the 30% just suddenly shifted their mood toward it, which are the ones I call grifters. It's like, oh, this is nothing like Mortal Kombat, but you didn't count the comics ones. Comic series is canon from Tobias. No, they changed. Remember, I did talk to you about that. The original ones, the original comics, were now deemed non-canon, and the MKX comic line is the canon ones. Because there was also a falling out from Tobias, and when Tobias does other stuff now, so some of his ideas became uncanonized. But then now, yeah, but then now we go to. But now if we go to the MKX rebooted trilogy, that means none of the other stuff is technically canon anymore. MK9 forward is canon. Because when Mortal Kombat the
all day.
Sindel was meh, Kitana's still the top. Oh hell yeah. See, the thing is, again, why did Retro have a problem? Because here's the thing, Melina, despite her not getting too much to do, she talked like her, she sounded like her, even though she didn't have her purple look, she was busty like Melina. I didn't have a problem with her skin being dark.
This is going to sound sexist or evil as hell what I'm about to say, but okay, I don't care. They may not want you to look at the face, but they want you to look at the nice tits and ass.
Hold on, let me answer. When did they announce that the OG comics aren't canon anymore? When they did the MKX, the storyline leading up to the MKX game. When the MKX comic run came, because then that was deemed official within the timeline. Remember, when the rebooted trilogy happened, the only stories that were kept intact was MK1, MK2, MK3, and MK4. What's it called? The Shao Kahn thing still happened. The Shinnok thing still happened, and then MK11 is a whole new original continuation. So, at least as a fan, I can acknowledge, I'm pretty sure, like, with the information, I know you can be like, okay, I may not like this what happens, but I can acknowledge that it comes to pass. But I still see the films, and during the development of the film, and I was following it, the director himself was going out his way to tell fans, he's like, I'm only using the structure of the original trilogy, but he's going to come up with ways of how it happens. So, That's just basically, I was like, okay, he's trying to get everybody, he was trying to get everybody open to it. And get them to, at least a director will go, that's a bummer because I like the old comics. I did too. I did too.
Nothing's bad about liking them and, not enjoying them either.
No, because I can admit, this thing is, they were good. They were good because I used to read them on the, what the fuck was it? There was this website that would put up the comic books, and even older ones, so I would read it, or I would watch the live motion comics on YouTube, because they even have that for that. So I was like, okay. But even as a fan, when I was looking into it, there was some things, this is why they decanonized it, because there was some things that contradicted the game. That's why like Shaolin Monks was considered non-canon, because it the only thing that remained the same was obviously we're going into the rematch tournament, but everything in between was original.
It's a problem with inconsistent writing.
Yeah.
Well, there's some.
It's becoming like Warhammer. Everything you want to believe is canon, since Workshop said that everything and nothing is canon. Yeah, that's true. But I still, like, at least I know, like I can at least, when I come to the table with the stuff that I know, especially the fandoms I like, I come to the forefront with evidence. I just don't know why he can't accept that. Like, it's like he can't accept anything that's not the canon. And don't get me wrong, you can have a good video and opinion, but it's like he had to use illogical reasons or stuff that was, okay, this is what I noticed. It's nitpicking that's being turned into criticism. Now, that's not how criticism works. You can't take nitpicking and turn that into criticisms, because then that's just unfair. Because everybody's going to have a nitpick.
Even Star Wars community like to cherry pick. I point to Death Troopers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly the same problem with the Mortal Kombat community. That's where it's going to become the Star Wars community 2.0. Or movie problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeesh. Yeah, well, he's been hit.
Yeah. So anyway, it's like the thing is, when I listened to his video twice, and it's like, you have some points, like there are some legitimate criticisms, but the thing is, the more you go over it, people are just running with nitpicks. It's like, what is it with this time turning nitpicks into criticism is the new thing now, when that's not how reviews or criticism works. I think he hates how they killed off the OG main storyline and just threw a reboot on everyone's face, and I understand him that many OG fans are since MKX. No, yeah, you're right, B, don't get me wrong.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Doesn't mean you have to be an asshole about it.
And this thing, if you could give the director credit for this, he was going out his way to saying this will be different. I'm only using, it's gonna follow the original trilogy. He just said that the build-up is an original movie, and the tournament will be the tournament, and then they will do the invasion. And with Mortal Kombat, a lot of people don't understand that, but you kind of do need a build-up, because if the movie just happened with the tournament, you'll be like, oh, well, all these characters, and then boom, you would have given critics even more fire, and then they could have actually damaged the movie, because now it's already greenlit to go with its 4 movies. I'm glad that the studio just listened to the praise, and the director says that whatever he needs to fix, he will fix it. It's just that, you got to give people the benefit of the doubt, because if he was any of these modern directors, he would just do his vision and not take input from fans. And he took the input from everybody and wanted them to be like, look, remember everybody. Yeah. What happened? Keo?
I said at least he's bothered to take criticism and not be coming.
Yeah, the director took the criticism, and he says that if people want to see, which there's a lot more.
I can't pronounce the name. He said if they did that, it would have been Annihilation 2.0. Correct?
It would have been. It's like, no matter what, you're not gonna please everybody. The video game scene is gonna be for a niche audience. And Mortal Kombat, even though yes, it is worldwide, it has a niche hardcore fan base. And here's the thing: the hardcore fans can't even, because by watching the movie, B, if you watch the movie, despite the problems you may have, Retro took the nitpicks, and he made them seem way over the top. Because I watched the movie again yesterday, and before I do a full-length review, I'm gonna watch it again today. If it comes to these two franchises, like Mortal Kombat and Resident Evil, will be where my lore in Star Wars, where my lore, if rarely, can be contested. Especially, like, I give you BB, you can, the good thing, it's like with Warhammer. You're very knowledgeable when it comes to Warhammer, and I'm sure if somebody messed it up and you correct them, and that they go out their way to say you're wrong, that would be like, they'll be in for some annihilation. I mean, Libra saw the movie, and Libra is not the biggest MK fan, but so for him, the film did what the director said it should do. It brought a newcomer, so to speak, through the eyes of Cole into understanding the universe.
Okay, John, here's a question for you. Strictly, not even a lore joke. This is going to go along with enjoyment. How many people do you know enjoyed the film that aren't MK fans?
A lot.
That know a little bit about the thing, a little bit about more. They enjoyed this movie thoroughly.
Dude, what the hell's that noise? Keo, what the hell's that? Hello? Yeah, that. Oh shit! Like, I can't hear him. I just hear.
Okay, I hear ya.
There we go.
I hear ya.
It sounded like white statics.
I know. You're having me use 3 different headphones. One
Oh.
trying to keep track of this.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Trust me, it's like the technical nightmare, which is why I'm just like, Libra, can't you just type or something?
So, like, when it came to audiences, one, I tested it on my mom first, who she only knows by what she sees me play. She knows nothing of MK. But she went ahead and she watched the whole movie and she's like, I see why you like this game now. I see why you like the series. You know, and she watched it 2 times over. Then we were at my cousin's house. One, you have some that are fans and some that are not. Especially you have some that are sports gamers that think of anything. Oh, how's my shoulder doing? It's getting better. It's just that I still have to get more work done to it.
But anyway, you said you have fans and non-fans at your cousin's house. This is why I want to hear about the enjoyment factor before I get to
They were watching it. They could tell and after the movie was over, like, they could tell the reaction from me, let's say from me, TJ, Gabriel, that we were the fans, that we know the lore, and everyone else was looking at our reactions. They were like, wow, they were like, you guys must really, like, you guys must have knew something for y'all to react the way you did, especially when it came to the motivation for Liu Kang. Because here's the thing, would you rather have Liu Kang died? I bet that would have started a shitstorm. At least, you know what's funny? Some people are trying to compare Cole Young to Alice. No, that is completely unfair because they already have their own story arc, and they said that he's not gonna take over as the champion. He's just the chosen one to help gather, or to at least redeem the Shira Ryu. You know, redeem their deaths through Scorpion. And don't get me wrong, if Scorpion died, they could play up the idea where, okay, this is phase 1 of Cole's powers, and to defeat Noob Saibot. But here's the thing, you know what they think they should do? This is going to be crazy, but it would be a great twist in the future if Noob Saibot defeats Scorpion. Our Scorpion. And then Kuai Liang needs help, you know, the newer Sub-Zero needs help, and the essence, since Cole has the dagger of Scorpion, his soul and power is within it. He can end up using Scorpion's powers and get his suit, and then you have a team up of Scorpion and Sub-Zero in a way, or have Hanzo fight through Cole's body. So that means you can basically get the team up against the enemy. Or fuck it, if you're gonna bring Quan Chi in, that means Kuai Liang defeats Noob whilst Quan Chi gets defeated. Because here's the thing, alright guys, I need to hop off. I need to get up tomorrow. I hope we can continue the MK Lord discussion together with the Retro at some time so I can hop in VC. Yeah, go ahead, We'll still be doing this for a little bit. I have a couple of MK videos in the works now that I'm home, so. What do you got on this one? What do you got now on this one, Keo?
What?
Like, what's your thoughts? Like, where they? Shit. Before I had to answer Beast thing, what was I saying?
You were answering Beast's question.
No, but before that. Libra.
What's up?
Keo's talking to you.
What's up, Keo?
He said, "What's up, Keo?"
I was asking if you could remember what you were saying. That way I could remember, because I'm trying to do 3 different
Oh yeah.
ways of listening.
But and here's the thing: some people are saying, "Oh, Goro was wasted," and da da da. Okay, here's the thing: you saw how they emphasized Shang Tsung taking Goro's body and Sub-Zero's body. So my thing is, my thing about this is, it could be wait, at least Liu Kang don't die in this timeline. See, that's the thing. Yeah, he doesn't fucking die.
Oh, and here's another thing. I wanted to point this out. I pointed out in my review, I believe, just to spam my subscriber. But I said it wouldn't be that hard if, since Shang Tsung absorbed Kung Lao's soul, Kung Lao comes back as a revenant, and he uses the power of the soul to become young again, Shang Tsung.
Well, no, he's already young. They realize that there's no need to just do the old man Shang Tsung, because.
Well, I didn't know if this one was considered the old man.
Well, no, there's always been a contradiction with Shang Tsung. His powers are to make, like, when he steals souls, it's to make he would stay younger with the amount of souls he has, and he gains their powers, because that's how it works when they shapeshift. But a lot of people are like, why is he not old, blah blah blah. I'm like, it's gonna contradict the rule. Even the first game, before they even established it, that kind of, when you look at it now, the first game kind of contradicts Shang Tsung's powers.
Yeah, but that's a whole, let's not get into that can of worms entirely right now.
Yeah, I know.
Mainly just, throwing that out there as something they do, since they didn't kill Liu Kang, but they killed Kung Lao, and
yeah,
how powerful Kung Lao's soul is, and he can come back as a powerful revenant, and there's more fighters for Shang Tsung's tournament now.
I'm almost tempted that we play his video live and debunk those points as well, besides the live.
Come back officially on PSN, because my brain's having trouble keeping up with 4 different ways of communicating.
Yeah, I know.
I'm having to go through PSN, through a different microphone, through Discord, through a different microphone, and watch you on YouTube.
No, I know.
So, if your head don't explode from having to manage that, I don't know who will. Oh, and let's also keep eye on Discord on another servers.
Yeah.
To avoid, unless we're called in there. So that's 4 things I'm managing.
Yeah.
So, hopefully my replacement will be in later tomorrow or Tuesday. And when I come back, we'll have that big live debunk.
Yeah, we should have beat for that one, because I doubt, because here's the thing, whatever happened to that Lord debate that I was going to have with Infinite Retro? Never got into it. Because that's the thing, I'm not going to go by what the fans tell me to, I'm going by what the creator says about the game, because who would know the story than the creator? And that means to argue that means basically Infinite Retro has to call the creator a liar.
So, yeah, he ran off.
And again, like, everybody, just to know, Annihilation has the reputation it has for a reason. That video he put was just misinformation. Like, full-fledged misinformation.
Oh, way bad. I spent 30 minutes wrecking that movie. Logic.
So it's funny how, but the thing is, yes, like B said, he does have points in his thing, but a lot of the other points are just nitpicks that are elevated to be criticisms, and that's disingenuous. To take criticisms or not criticisms, but to just take nitpicks, because there are a lot more nitpicks than there are criticism. Don't get me wrong, there are criticism. I can criticize the pacing, and I can criticize, I think it should have at least been a solid 2-hour film, or maybe just 2 hours and 20 minutes or 10 minutes to give that little bit of fleshing out. But it's Mortal Kombat. The story is technically the story is like on speed. If it was a drug, the story's on speed.
I got a better analogy. It's like the Godzilla effect. Do we watch?
Oh my God! It's a Gundam. You could tell it's a Gundam. He failed on that too because he misreviewed that one as well. And I'm like, oh my God! And this is the guy who wants.
Let me just get to what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
With the pacing, it's like, do we watch Godzilla for the human perspective or to see Godzilla?
We watch it for fucking Godzilla.
Okay, do we watch Mortal Kombat in there for just the entirety lore of the story, or to see some over-the-top fights? And done correctly choreographed.
Thank you. Yes, and here's the thing. Some of the fights, and mind you, this is a low budget. For a video game movie, this is still fucking low budget, and look what they were able to do.
They mixed practical and non-practical. I thought that in my review too.
And mind you,
turkey like Joker of CGI.
You know what's funny? Just because Goro was killed in this movie, I could easily tell you then, I could predict by the second movie when they do the tournament, I think this is how it's gonna be. Shang Tsung will be the fight beforehand, and Shao Kahn will be a spectator. I don't see Shao Kahn throwing hands until the third film.
Here's another thing that I wanted to point out, just to add salt to Infinite Retro's logic. Goro was killed better in this way than the 1999
Thank
film.
you.
How did he die in 1990 film, though? A
Punch to the nut, yeah.
And then fall off cliff.
Nut punch, fall off the cliff. Nut punch or fall off the cliff. Or how would you rather have him have a fucking... Because Cole did his own fatality, too. He went out his way to make his own fatality. And he didn't even know what to do. He did that solely on instinct.
But I'm just saying, would you rather Goro killed this way, in a newer modern era, this kind of death, or fall off a cliff?
I'd rather have this one.
Okay. I rest my case. I think we have another jury to get to.
Jesus. But like, here's the thing. Let's overall, like, where does everybody stand on the film, and where do you expect it to go from here? Like, do you feel that the positives with, like, even from the director and writer standpoint, going out their way to, like, have people understand what they're doing. Most directors don't even do that. They will not go out their way to communicate with their fandom. And Infinite Retro doesn't even acknowledge that either. He pretends like it doesn't exist, that he was interacting with fans. He even had interviews with fans the day and night of the film. And this is his first film. Of course it's gonna have flaws. It's his first time outing, and you're taking on a very powerful license.
Yeah. Yeah, I could talk about Godzilla 1998, but let's, different thing. But this director is very good. From the way he's structuring it, this is a prologue. I said it in the review.
Exactly, and
the next movie will be like Act 1, the next movie Act 2, and the next movie, if it's 4 movies, will be Act 3, the finale.
Yeah, and the director said he wants to do the original, and this was from his words, the original trilogy, but an original way of how you see it, like an original way of seeing the tournament.
Basically, John, I can give you a better way to help the audience.
Okay.
Or the viewers. He wants to do the original trilogy, but in a modern day take. Not the 1999, whatever. We can't do it like we did in the 90s. We have to do it in the modern day.
And even going as far as to explain game mechanics as lore.
They didn't do that in 95.
They just expected you to know. Where the director here, he expects the people who already know to know what they're getting in for, and newcomers to have a new view. And I mean, what's the problem with Jack? There's one more. There's one more thing. There's another criticism I want to bring up. What is the problem with Jax having a different way of losing his arms when God knows how many different ways he's lost his arms? And at least, you know, someone actually said that, oh, Sub-Zero doesn't have that capability. I'm like, you're fucking stupid. If he can rip your spine out with your head still attached, I think he could blow your arms off. Like, you see what I mean? You see where you see where their logic dies.
It dies very heavily.
It's like, if you're gonna review the film, then don't take your nitpicks and turn those into criticism, because that's not how criticism works. If you have a genuine problem, that's fine. Explain it in detail, but don't just say, oh, I don't like this because of this minor reason. That's a nitpick.
I tried to do it in my review. And spoiler everything. I explained how the armor's gonna work via Magitech, how the weighting of the arcana could work via the circumstances. Jesus. If you're going to review it, do something like that at least.
And I mean, a lot of people gotta understand, like, I could argue with Infinite Archer all I want, but at the end of the day, yes, it still is his opinion, but like I said about opinions, you can have an opinion if it's justified. If it's not, then it's wrong, and you're gonna get called out on it.
It's like saying the Earth is flat constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not only that, he takes his opinions about it a little bit too far, like, and like the way it's like,
oh yeah, about actually, that's one thing we've missed out. He's called this a fucking SJW propaganda piece, and all his old. If you guys want to know, all his old videos, he deleted all his videos bashing Mortal Kombat and just waited till the. We told you he was gonna wait till the film came out. Just so he
made a video even on me, calling me a white supremacist, I believe.
When he's the bigot, one of the, like, I try to get that man in the middle of the doubt, but he acts like a bigot sometimes.
Hey, those videos had some quite a big threads. Like that, long discussion, so I don't know why you took them down. You could have muted yourself the whole time and then just kept the thread going.
But yeah, he also damaged Controlled.
Well, the worst way possible, for people who follow you and know that, yeah. For people who want to know the proof of that video I'm talking about, go look Libra October. He thanked Infinite Rush for making me into a meme.
Yeah, he saw those videos, and I think Libra even put the link in there. So if they see that link, it'll say, "Oh, this video is no longer there." That's proof that he deleted them or hid them.
So yeah. I think we're on closing arguments.
Well, no. We need to get into the part where it's like specifically like where in this film was there SJW propaganda, and was it a freaking what else you would call it, a propaganda piece?
Almost very little. None. I didn't hear women are superior to men or nothing.
And you know what's funny? It's the female Mortal Kombat fans that love this, and it's mainly there's still a guy who's technically the lead.
Yep.
Somebody literally had the fucking.
By the way, audience, just so you know, this movie in Japan outsold Demon Slayer, an anime movie. Demon Slayer has made a humongous amount of money in Japan, and Mortal Kombat outsold it.
Okay, now real quick. There's actually, because they're wrong, we still have enough. We could still talk about the stuff here. What do you think about the hints that they did to the homages they did to the game when it came to the lore background, and without throwing it in your face, the lore was shown passively as artifacts.
Like the paintings, the Dagon and
Taven and Dagon's parents. And here's the kick.
There's Katana's fan, which I saw. We saw Quan Chi's medal.
Yeah, the amulet of Shinnok.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's fine, because he still treats it as his, so.
And there's, like, a lot of homages they do, but those are Easter eggs that only fans will know. To a normal person, like, oh, that's a really cool weapon, what's it do? Why did Liu Kang say, put that back?
Because, yeah, we knew what that fucking thing was, and that's like, yeah, put it back!
Exactly, that line there is for a fan. Because a fan would know what that medallion is. This is a good Easter egg person. Because he hit the medallion, we're like, hey, that's Shinnok or Quan Chi's medallion, and Kano tries to steal it, and Liu Kang's like, no, put that back. Put that back, that's there for a reason.
Yeah, let me pull this up here, because I had something right here that shows that listed the Easter egg, so that means I know what I spotted and how I can interpret it correctly here.
I interpreted Katana's blade. The fan was one of Katana's fans. As a homage to her.
They acknowledge that Nightwolf exists in this universe.
Yep.
Kotal Khan.
The painting.
And there's people, and we had to actually, one more thing. This is actually something that I noticed, and even my cousin who plays Mortal Kombat, he caught this for his first time watching it. He caught this. He was like, "That's not fucking Sub-Zero." And you have to watch it again. The director suddenly telling you that that's Quan Chi, because one, Sub-Zero.
I'll tell you that because when I first saw it, first time I saw it, when you were listening to me live, reacting, watching this, and I'm like, so why is that's not Sub-Zero? His mannerisms are not that.
And why is he bleeding when he's trying to use the ice effects? You clearly see he's struggling in his hand, and he's making a little face that it's bothering him. See, that's the thing about the sorcerers. They can mimic your moves, but if it's something that requires your bodily function, it's kind of gonna hurt them too to do it.
And you only see two things frozen: that house, his wife.
And this thing, the Lin Kuei are to hide their identity when they're in the open.
You don't walk in there with your face off. And that's another thing. If people don't mention this, and I'm going to mention it here. Why did it when Sub-Zero, the one that Scorpion fought at the end of the movie, did not have a scar on his face? Because even Hanzo says, "I will remember you because of that scar." Remember, there's passive line.
And he's telling him to remember that face. Now, in the lore, Sub-Zero, even in MK9, he knew about the clan's destruction, even though it wasn't by his hands. Original Sub-Zero was an ass. He took credit for it, which actually threw into Quan Chi's favor. Because what Quan Chi wanted was two powerful servants. He was already trying to get them to his idea was to get them to both kill each other together, so therefore he'd have a powerful Revenant in Scorpion and create another one in Sub-Zero to make him Noob. But that didn't happen. Noob became his own fucking... So Quan Chi respected him as his own entity and not a servant.
Yeah, so... Oliver, you were going to say something?
No.
Oh, okay, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that was... With one of the things I noticed immediately was Sub-Zero's mannerisms in 16-something was not that of how...
he is.
Someone's you can't flippantly, on a fly...
Your language...
switch from Japanese to Chinese. They even say that in there. If you look at that, the director went out of his way to say Chinese,
Japanese.
when he's speaking. And there's no way a normal person, regardless of what you are, would be able to flip on the fly like that. And a native Chinese would be able to do that at that specific time period, because they went out of the way to say it was like 16-something during the Shogun.
I think it was 16, 17.
I pointed that out in the review too, and if you look at the mannerisms of how that Sub-Zero is, or Blue Lei, I can't remember the name. The older brother, okay, just the older brother Sub-Zero.
Yeah, Bihan.
He acts like a nobility. Look at how he holds his demeanor. He holds his hands behind his back, like someone a noble looking down on them.
And Quan Chi is a noble of the Nether Realm due to Shinnok. Shinnok's his god, and he's second in command to that god.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's literally, that's not how Sub-Zero would talk. Like, he would talk and look like a common. Kind of like Scorpion did. Scorpion came in there and talked there, and it's funny how Sub-Zero can literally flip to Japanese on the fly to talk to Scorpion. And Scorpion points out, why can you speak Japanese and Chinese?
See, to have that, like, without openly saying who the identity of that person is and leaving it to newer fans to speculate, because a newer fan will still probably be like, no, I gotta see for myself. Even if you say it's this person or could this person be, they still will change it up. But where they're going with it, because you need somebody to create Noob Saibot, and I'm also assuming that Shang Tsung has the soul of smoke, because Shang Tsung's portals, everyone and their mother knows those fuckers are green. And those were smoke portals.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, probably they're gonna also change until he could shapeshift to in the middle of the fight. Because I think this time, if Liu Kang fights him, they're gonna take advantage of Shang Tsung gonna be able to do his powers, which is shapeshifting on the fly, which is what he did to you in the games. Which again is a great nod to the boss battle. It's like.
There also was. Let's talk one thing about besides boss battles. Let's talk about set pieces. They used the set piece from Deadly Alliance, or it was like Armageddon. that oil pit.
That oil pit was deception.
That was straight out of the video game. That entire set piece was.
And then especially the closest one to the fucking video game was the pit stage where you can uppercut somebody into the spikes where Jax fought Rico.
I even mentioned that in the review. Like, the director put great attention to detail in this movie, and that's something people are not giving credit for. There was a lot of Easter eggs and details that only Mortal Kombat fans would know of. But the casual person would be like, "Oh, that's an awesome fight scene." We perved him. But someone MK goes, "Yeah, that's in the older games, MK Deadly Alliance. Go play it."
And besides, people are pretending like, "Oh, here's the thing. I can admit this. Kano is one of the most 100% characters that's ever been put to fucking screen, but people are acting like, oh, Kano was never going to be good. One, I looked at the background of the actor. He's actually fucking hysterical. One, he's also naturally Australian, so when he put on his fucking Kano impression, I was like, the motherfucker was Kano right out of the gate.
He sold it. His one-liners were king. Look at old Gandalf here. Zap!
Like, he got... Oh god, poor Kane. Until he got his fucking eye, until he got his goddamn, even when he got his goddamn eyeball.
The bunny rabbit moment where Luke bunny rabbit, I nearly keeled over.
And they're trying to say, somebody's trying to say, oh, 1995 Liu Kang, as much as we like him, he's not Liu Kang from the video game. He's an original Liu Kang. This one is 100% out of Shaolin monks. Even though it's funny how the game's not canon, he still went ahead to give him those mannerisms because that is one of the most accurate depictions of Liu Kang's personality. The first time people saw it in a cinematic sense.
Yep. Hey, Red Hood.
Yo.
We're back discussing Mortal Kombat and Misinformation. The reason I sound messed up is because I'm blaring through Discord and they're talking through the normal PSN because Mr. Egg on my face killed my PS4.
I mean, plus we have to also do the next stream to debunk It's a Gundam's information about it because he did the same thing as fucking Retro. It's funny how he doesn't even like Infinite Retro.
I haven't bothered to look into It's a Gundam situation yet, so that's what I'm gonna have to do research on.
He made a video about me about Battlefront 2, and he's one of the ones that said I was wrong about the game. Yeah. No, yeah, but he was one of the ones that said I was wrong about the game, and turned out I ended up being right. And he's one of the ones that never.
While we're here, speaking of games, why don't you tell the audience how you enjoyed Avengers? Just to deviate for a little bit.
I'll tell you what, it does the Destiny formula better than what Destiny did the first time. Because yes, it has a very similar formula to Destiny, but at least it's fun to fucking play. And people gotta drop this already. Like, they hold superhero games to such fucking high calibers. It's still superhero games. You're never supposed to have fucking high expectations for those. So it's like, I hate these people who just change their agenda. Like, the very people who say, oh, we don't have agendas, or we hate agenda, we don't like agenda-driven people. You fucking have agendas.
Yeah, that is interesting that they use the winged woman.
Nitada. Yeah.
Nitana. She's a B tier character that
C tier.
And this is something I pointed out in my review. Why don't you use the lower tier?
No, Retro. Not Retro. Yeah, she's C tier.
Well,
yeah, I know.
Bottom tier characters to kill off in the prologue and save the big ones
for the next movie. Yeah, thank you.
Especially if you don't know if this movie's gonna flop.
Which it didn't, thank God.
To sell so well in the Asian market, both sides, wow. That's all I gotta say is wow. Oh, and before that, I think Cole's semi-Asian.
There's actually something I want to talk about. That's another thing I'm gonna tell her real quick. I need you to take over again while I go to the fucking bathroom. I don't know what it was that I ate, but my stomach is being a bitch.
Oh, I thought this was the other half record. Okay, what do I need to talk about? Talk your point of view on why you feel Cole was actually a decent addition, and how this guy could actually have, since he has his own arc that's not taking over Liu Kang. Oh, narrative was bad, but yeah, I did that. Well, I'll only explain Cole in a nutshell. Cole is a semi-viewpoint character. That's one thing I pointed out. Another thing, oh, Libra, you didn't talk. I thought someone said Libra. Okay, they're using Cole to good effect for a new insert character, and they're using lore powers from the older Mortal Kombat games for him, I believe, like the armor. Shit. I'm sorry if I seem brain dead. I'm having to do multiple tasks at once, as I've stated, but today's one of those days, I swear. Everything that I want to talk about on this specific stream, but because there's so much. Cole is not exactly a one-dimensional character, I can tell you that much right now. A one-dimensional character in the beginning is Aaron Yeager from Attack on Titan. I want to kill Titans. Season 1. No, Cole actually was a multi-layer character. That's one thing Cole had in his favor, I would say, is being a semi-multi-layer character. I also like the fact that you had to manipulate his rule magic in order to wake him up. You had to put him under severe amount of stress and actual threat. I pointed out he's not in danger in that training area because he knows he's got the retry button constantly. But once you take away the retry button, you're just like, oh crap, if I die, I die. That's what Raiden did. He stuck him out in the middle and made a big bullseye target. So Cole was under an actual fear of death situation, and that's what allowed him to wake his Arcana. Which was good. The foreshadowing of Hanzo was pretty good build-up. It always, if you notice when they were emphasizing foreshadowing towards Scorpion's return, they always had that damn dagger. The kunai, and it wasn't until Cole got the kunai that Scorpion manifested. But he doesn't just manifest out of the blue, it's literally rules magic. He only manifests to fight Sub-Zero.
Now, I kind of also get the implication of where he says you have freed me, because now he's no longer shackled by the Netherrealm. But if he really did kill his murderer, he's always showed that he reverts back to being his old Hanzo self. So that means he didn't kill the one that was responsible. Because if he would have reverted back, he would have been like he would have reverted back to Hanzo.
He has a semi-reversion. I noticed that when he saw Cole's family, he had a post-traumatic stress syndrome basically where he sees his family.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally did a 360 moment, like he went to the old Hanzo for a minute, like, oh god, I gotta help my descendant out. He clearly put 2 and 2 together as who summoned me.
And what he means is for Cole to protect the current line, because now his daughter is still technically part of that, so that means, you know, daughter, she has a child in the future, like at least the Shiro Ryu bloodline will continue. It will live on. And I think that's the message, is not only will there be peace, but it'll be peace for the Shiro Ryu, which, I mean, like I said, what is wrong with one of the most popular characters having the forefront this time?
Yeah, Scorpion's always kind of have been shafted to a lot.
And a lot of these arguments, even if, like, when we used our own, when I do my own points on those videos, I know he is not going to be able to debunk these arguments without using illogical reasons.
But since we're moving on towards the finale of the movie, because we've fallen all over the movie.
Yeah.
What do you think of you have to be an MK fan, and you heard my reaction when Sub-Zero was taking off the armor. I'm like, noob Cyborg, noob Cyborg. His armor,
that's what I'm saying. His armor, when he takes his armor off, his inner suit looks like Noob Saibot. And when they focused on, when Shang Tsung focused on taking the bodies away, saying, you know, death is another portal, they focused on him first.
Yep, and his body turned Noob.
Well, no, it just got covered in smoke, but I guarantee he probably let his body go to Quan Chi. Cause Shang Tsung would never, you know.
He's not dead yet, so
yeah, the dude signed on. See, this was real quick. This is something that also debunked. It's a Gundam's logic. He says, "How is Sub-Zero?" Like, he never answered me back on Twitter for this. He said, "How is Sub-Zero gonna return if he's dead?" I was like, "Dude, you clearly never played the game." He turned into Noob Saibot. At least, I told him, at least if you're gonna have a criticism, make sure it's valid and not easily debunkable.
Yeah.
So.
But the finale, I like that. I was at the point earlier. Hanzo, they foreshadowed the hell out of that knife.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time Cole would see Hanzo or Scorpion, he would see him with that knife, and Raiden doesn't give him the knife until the end of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's Raiden's cheeky. That's Raiden's cheeky way of knowing I know a workaround, and you're about to have some huge fucking backup. And there's nothing wrong with Scorpion being the good guy this time around, because he got a huge positive reception when he became good again, and still kept his powers. So he's kind of like.
Here's the interesting part.
Yeah.
In this movie, I even said to my review, I don't know what lineman on. He might be neutral for all I know.
That's true. Yeah.
Except where he's going. He just says, "Thank you for freeing me," and then bounces.
Yeah.
But Cole does acknowledge straight to Ryan. He just goes, so that dagger was useful after all. That's a cheeky way of like, you didn't send me to die completely.
He says you couldn't. I thought you couldn't intervene, and Raiden was like. Raiden does know he can slightly. Here's the thing: he can't interfere with each other's combatants, but it's not like he can't give them assistance without fighting.
It's not like this. It's not like how that Raiden that you have on screen basically put a bucket of water to kill Sub-Zero.
Yep,
No,
and look.
Weapon wasn't even going to manifest because there was rules applied to it. Literally, Hanzo's soul's entitled, and the only way Hanzo appeared was because Hanzo was still pissed at Sub-Zero because he had it earlier. It didn't work.
Yeah, but now there's no chance. Like he's gonna want now. They're gonna wonder like why is he not? Because if he returns in the Sub-Zero form, you would figure he would be not Sub-Zero form, the Scorpion form. You'd be like, okay, if he truly killed his killer, he would have been freed. Because you notice after he always defeats Quan Chi, he reverts back to being Hanzo fully, but he was able to keep his Scorpion Revenant powers.
But here's another thing I noticed in the movie involving Scorpion in general. It's at the end of it, he's like, besides thank you for freeing me, he kept the, he even said, I spent a long time in hell mastering the Hellfire.
Yeah, which means that just showed it gave us, like, he was now he had a reason to get out.
And since he's free now, we don't exactly know the full, how was he free? But he doesn't have a full-blown physical body, because that was basically a manifestation. It's a straight-up manifestation.
Yeah.
So
what if he can manifest? That's the thing. What if something happens to Cole, and then Scorpion's essence is what can manifest through him? So that means Cole can not only fight. It would be one other good idea that would be new and original, and that would be like, okay, we can give some validity to Cole as a true descendant of Scorpion. Cole can be in his armor.
Scorpion will only come to assist him through the dagger unless absolutely necessary. Like the Sub-Zero circumstances.
Well, no. I think in the tournament, he'll still be able to compete in the tournament because he's around. So he still has to be able to compete. And then, if you get to when you get to MK3 storyline with Invasion, they can.
Full blown out.
He could be full blown out, yeah.
Because then that's when the Nether Realm was coming through and his body can fully manifest. He can probably by that point, if they structure it right, manifest and stay in the real world without being need to tie to the damn dagger.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's basically what he is right now is a summon item.
Yeah.
So
we gotta give Libra.
Yeah, what's up?
What's your, at least now like, what's your closing thoughts on the whole Mortal Kombat thing? And now, does it give you the urge to look forward to any new stories from either the movies, or now will you at least play the story, get into the story of the games, so you're able to make, you can understand where both sides come from?
I'm looking forward to what they do with this movie, because I honestly could see them do really good potential with the other movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because at least you're getting a bare bones recreation of the original. Like, you're getting a remix of both the original series of, like, all the way at least up to part 4, but then you don't know how it's gonna get there. You just know the players involved. And these are some characters like you didn't even know some of the villains from the outside because those are characters that didn't get introduced until later on.
Yep.
So, where would you, at least, I can't give my rating on this, but at least from the both of you, since, I don't know if, because I know Libra did his Mortal Kombat videos, and I know you did yours, what review, where do you leave it, at least as in video game films? Where do you rate it to the video game films?
Like
I think it has its flaws, but at the end of the day, it's a good setup piece.
Yeah, I mean, Libra, how it stacks among all video game movies, and does it still continue now the curse of video games being broken?
No, it doesn't continue that curse, I can tell you that much. It broke out of that curse.
No, that's what I mean. That's why it doesn't continue. It's continuing to break the curse because, let's be real, if you want to stack up the good movies...
It's like the Sonic movie situation.
Actually, Detective Pikachu, I think, did it.
Yeah.
Now, but saying...
This is Tekken movie for me. I enjoyed it just like I enjoyed the very first Tekken movie. Mm-hmm. Which is still considered breaking the video game curse movies. So, there's my opinion on that, I guess.
Well, I was saying, how many, compared to, if you can list off the video game movies that are the good ones, where does this stack among the good ones?
It stacks within... Okay, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take out the equation older films, okay? Mm-hmm. Like, older ones. Let's just go with since 2010 and up.
Yeah.
Or maybe 2008 and up.
Wherever, a lot of people could say it real quick. Side note, a lot of people could say what they want, but the fucking Tomb Raider movie actually falls under being good because it's accurate to the 2013 game.
Alright, okay, here we go. I enjoyed it just like I enjoyed Prince of Persia when I saw it in theaters. Mm-hmm. I saw Prince of Persia had its flaws, but it was very good. People were mad about the battle armor, but I'm like, look, that armor that he has from Prince of Persia 2 is battle armor. Jake Callahan was only wearing it because he's in a battle.
Yeah, exactly.
They kind of did this concept here, and they even set up room for maybe a sequel if they wanted to do one, but they don't have to because the director was smart because he didn't know if it was going to flop.
All right. And Libra, what video game movies have you seen that you can compare this to, that you actually know are well deserved of being good and not trashed like people did? Because now as we're starting to see, critics and even fans are starting to slip and be inconsistent with what their beliefs are when they're watching something or playing something. Because they'll quickly praise it or they'll trash it, or they'll quickly trash it and then praise it.
Well, like I said, I think a while back, you can't please everybody. So I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't matter what the movie director does. There's always going to be somebody that has some kind of bias or negative attitude. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I think as long as they go with the direction and they keep the new fans in heart and the old fans in mind, I think it'll be really successful. I mean, it already destroyed Demon Slayer's sales and box office.
That's a hard thing to do in Japan, its home country.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, see, where I stand on this, at the end of the day, people gotta stop holding video game movies to high standards. That is also a problem. Holding a video game, it's a video game movie. You're meant to go in and see accurate depictions of the action, but the stories don't always have to stay the same, or they have to be altered. Wouldn't you want something wholly original instead of something you can say, oh, it's just a cheap knockoff of the original?
Didn't I say that earlier in this video?
Mm-hmm.
And they had to make this movie for
it's a bridge.
To a degree.
It's a bridge to bring older
fans.
Yeah, it's like a bridge to bring older fans and newer fans together. It's like, why? And that's the thing. Why doesn't Influencer want that? He's a freaking horrible gatekeeper. That's my stance on this situation. So, yeah. this will at least be the first debunking video or stream. I'm pretty sure if we can get Beatmaster in here on one of these days, we can speak with him, because he's an avid fan of the series and he knows the lore pretty well. And it's sad that even his lore knowledge gets called into question unjustly. You know something's up here. So I'm gonna end it right here. I hope everybody enjoyed that. Look out for I have to do my review, so I'm gonna watch it probably later on again, or probably watch it right after this. Who knows? Alright, I'll catch everyone later.
See ya.